Hello, everybody out there. I am really honored and privileged today to have the owner of Keenan Winery with us. Today, we have Michael Keenan, who's going to tell us all about the vintage and the harvest for 2022. And I know I'm anxious to hear about it. So, we'll jump right in. And for anybody that is watching this that might not be familiar with you, Michael, which I can't believe anybody would be familiar with you or the wines, how about a brief introduction about Keenan?
Sure. We are one of the seemingly last remaining multi-generational family-owned estate wineries left in Napa. I mean, it's not entirely true, but it seems to be getting that way. I'm the second generation proprietor. I've been running the business for 24 years. My father started it in the 70s when land wasn't hideously expensive like it is now. So we own our own lands, we control them, we farm them sustainably. Most of our vineyards now are over the age of 20. Some of them are 27 years old. They're at the peak of their game. So the conditions this year, not normal again. Massive heat spell, the worst heat spell any of us have ever seen, right around Labor Day. But because our vines are mature and they've been farmed sustainably for their entire life, they really took it really well. We've been hearing about a lot of other problems other people have been having with everything from color to too much sugar, not enough sugar, too much acid, not enough acid. And I think we've come through nice, or very well actually, but it just wasn't normal. Started earlier than ever. I think let's see, our first pick was August 24th. We started picking Chardonnay.
Wow.
We've never picked Chardonnay in August before. And then went right into the Zinfandel. Finished the Chardonnay on the 30th actually, and then went into the reds on the 1st. So we are pretty much done. We have one 3-acre block of Cabernet Franc still hanging. Probably pick it next week, and that'll be it. So, and actually most of our fermentations are complete now too. It was really amazing tasting everything yesterday, and everything tastes great. The concentration is really great. The balance is there. The tannins are not out of control, which after this heat spell, that's the one thing you worry about is tannin texture.
Right.
And they've come through really, really well. So I'm happily surprised after yesterday. And also just yesterday, it was just one of those beautiful Napa days that makes you feel like everything's going to be okay. I was out of town in Ohio for a week of market work. So I missed our rain event, which was about 10 days ago. And we got almost 2 inches of rain, which was really terrific. And the cover crop is coming up now. The ground was still damp. There was hardly any dust coming up. Then it was like 73 degrees yesterday, blue skies. It was just a gorgeous day. And since we were tasting wines that were done fermenting, it really seemed to me like mid to late October. It was just bizarre. But
have you ever been done prior to October 1st before? Has that ever happened?
Almost always.
Oh, for some reason I was thinking it went a little bit later, being that you're.
No, we generally start right around Labor Day, or the 2nd or 3rd of September. Sometimes that's before Labor Day, and we're usually done by October 1st. In the cooler years, like 98, 2010, 2011, we went into late October. And in the case of 2011, we actually went in November, as we did in 98. But the normal, the more normal years, we're done by October 1st.
Right. And so, well, that's great. Then, that's just one less thing to have to worry about. Well, is that normal is all of Napa usually done by October 1st, or that's just you guys?
No, we're not really what I call Napa normal, which is why I think our wines are so good. We pick before a lot of guys even start to think about picking, so that we get more balanced acidity and sugar. So our wines really have a classic, almost old world balance of sweet and savory. Well, in fact, I think what actually distinguishes our wines from old world wines is we have more developed sweet fruit flavors. And what distinguishes our wines from those Napa wines is that we have more developed savory, herbaceous, and vegetal flavors.
Right.
And in a way that nobody can put them together. That's the advantage of Spring Mountain. It's an amazing place to grow grapes. We are cooler from elevation, but also we have more sun because of our elevation being above the fog and our primarily eastern exposure. So even in these odd years like this year, we come out great, and the colors are great this year. The acids are great. The developed fruit flavors are great. So it's a very, very good vintage.
One thing I do want to ask you about that isn't in, it wasn't something I was planning to ask you about, but you just touched on it. And I think it's really important. So I'd love for you to tell everybody watching, tell us about the importance of fog and how that really helps your wines, your vineyards, your wines, and everything that you guys do.
Well, we almost never have fog, so I can't really talk about the benefits of fog. We have the benefit of being higher up, so we're above the fog, and we catch first light on a summer day around 6 a.m. So the fog will come up from the San Pablo Bay and fill the valley south to north, and top out at about 1,200, 1,300 feet. And our elevation is 1,700 feet to 2,000 feet. And then to our west, which is the coast, the fog will come all the way across Sonoma sometimes and stop right around the ridge line, which is 3/4 of a mile to our west. So we're right in between the two fog bands. So we get coolness from fog proximity and also from elevation. But we get more hours of sun. So developing what we call, physiological ripeness is never an issue. It's a great exposure. And again, with the cooler overall temperatures, that means when we hit that window of ripeness, we've got a great acid backbone.
That's wonderful. Does this particular vintage remind you of any other vintage? Now, I know you said that
No.
it's very different. Yeah, no, it's all
no.
I mean, you had, God knows you've had your challenges thrown at you in the last 10 years. But this one, if nothing else, would seem a little easier, maybe?
Well, because we're older and we've been doing this for a long time, and I've got such an incredible team. I mean, Matt, my GM, has been with us for 27 years. Art, our cellar master, for 19 years. So the talent on the team, and Riley now has been with us for, I think, 5 years. Art lives on the property. Riley lives on the property. So we live and breathe what we do. So yeah, I guess if I calm down for a second and think about other vintages, this is a little bit similar to 04, which had a pretty warm harvest period and a below average crop yield like we had this year. And we were more panic stricken in 04 because we just hadn't gone through it. That situation, we just never experienced it before. So we were a little bit, running around like chickens with no heads, but the vintage ended up being great. And I think we made less than 10,000 cases that year. And we'll make less than 10,000 cases this year. And our 17-year average is 12,500 cases. So we're down, almost 20%.
Right. So the quantities are a little bit lighter, in fact, this year.
Across the board, all varietals. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Before we go, business overall is good. Any other thoughts?
We just closed out our fiscal year and it was a great year. In fact, our best year ever, but I'm a little bit concerned about the next 6 to 9 months. And I was in Ohio with my distributor all last week, and he's a very good friend of mine. And he has the exact same feelings. He just has an uneasy feeling about what's going to happen in the next 6 to 9 months. I mean, the future is always unpredictable, but in this case, I have a little bit more of a sense of unease than I usually do. Predictability is something this business has always lacked. And it seems like it's a little bit more acute right now.
Right. Well, to your point, the big advantage you have over everybody else is the fact that you are independent. You own yourself, for lack of better words, and you've been down this road many, many times before. So you're able to weather some of these storms, and that gives you a unique advantage. That gives Keenan a unique advantage over many, many other, if not most other people, I would think. Yeah,
no, you're right. We're well established. We've got a great reputation. I mean, we're known in the sommelier community across the country as the last great value from Napa. So if you're still, I mean, the economy is still functioning right now, thank God. And we have an advantage because people think, well, if we're going to buy anything, we're going to buy Keenan because it's such a solid name and the wines are so good and they're so well priced.
Right.
So our wine club is strong. Our direct to consumer business is very strong. The loyalty has always been great. In fact, I've been texting with some of our wine club members in Florida right now, checking in on them, and everything's fine, thank God, including our reps and Benita and Fort Myers. Like, yeah, no problem. We just put the plywood up and we're fine. And it's hitting Fort Myers directly. She's like cool as a cucumber. It's amazing.
And I should have said that at the very start. We're recording this on September 28th, 2022, and Hurricane Ian is getting ready to slam into Florida. It is slamming into Florida. So it's great that Michael's able to keep in touch with his wine club members and make sure that everybody's okay. And Florida's obviously a very important piece of business. So
Yeah, no, it's. I hope the damage isn't as bad as the newscasters are trying to make it out to be. It usually isn't, but everyone on the ground that I'm talking to is fine, which is a happy surprise.
yeah, excellent. All right, Michael. Well, thank you very much for tuning in with us. Really appreciate it. Really important to let everybody know that things are absolutely outstanding with you and with the Vineyard and Winery. And I'm glad that we had the chance to catch up.
All right, Van. Always good to see you.
Thank you.